So, hey. Yeah, hey, what's going down here on the recovery pod?
Yeah.
So, like, do you think, right, when we're like, I thought you were about to yawn. I'm like, bro. God. Already?
Got him! Go ahead, sorry.
So, like, alright, so when we're dealing with people who remind us of our old selves, right? Do you think we get so upset because we, like, almost zone out into unconsciousness and we almost feel like we're talking to our old selves, like, motherfucker, get it, you know what I mean? Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, talking to our unconscious selves, like, I want you to get it so you can, you know, not go through all this shit. And then we just kind of project our past onto these people. What do you think?
Bro, you just, like, blew my mind, because, like, I didn't think of it this way. Like, when I see somebody, you know, who triggers something in me, that something is, it's like all of a sudden, there's like a simulation that happens of my old self in front of me. And it's like, I don't look at the person as like an outsider, I look at them as, you are literally in me right now.
Yeah, like you are the old me.
Like, literally, and I keep paying attention to you more than others because, like, my entire focus is on you. I can't stop fucking looking at you. Everything about you irks me. And back when I hated myself, that's where I was at with my old self in me. It was like, dude, like, everything I would do, it was like, it was a weird paradox. Like, my unconsciousness, like, I would be unconscious, but I would just be so focused on that, you know, getting my way. So when I see somebody being focused on getting their way, it's like I'm getting sucked back into it. And then I'm like, and then I have this battle inside of me that just makes me rage. Like, how are you doing this right now and I can't? It's like it's fucking crazy.
Back to being, like, jealous of the unconsciousness?
Yeah.
Like, why are you so okay with this?
Yes.
So, like, yeah, like, if I run into someone who doesn't have a lot of characteristics like me or isn't in a very similar spot that I used to be in, it doesn't hit me the same. You know, especially, like, at work or whatever. Like, I'm like, all right, yeah, you got some issues. Like, I can kind of relate, or I can see where you're at, but I can't directly relate. But when I see someone who goes through, like, a similar relationship issue or a similar self-worth issue or whatever, like addiction issue, I want to fucking shake them because I directly, fully relate with where they're at. And I know how that feels. It probably, you know, sparks something in me. I don't always physically feel it or mentally get to a dark spot, like an old spot, but I almost feel like seeing a younger version of me stuck, like almost like I'm like the fucking ghost of Christmas future, and that's my old self, and I just want to be like, get out of there, like, this is the answer you're gonna spend the next 10 years looking for, like, let me save you the hassle, you know, and they just don't listen, you know, and then it's extra frustrating, you know. When I just see some dumbass who wants to be stuck in his way, like, I really don't care. I mean, I care. I want everybody to get it. It's another form of unconsciousness and self-defeat, like self-sabotage. But at the same time, like, I can let that go. But man, when it's a little baby me that I'm looking at, I'm just like, dude, fuck, man, why? Like, please, just take my hand, you know? And when they don't, it just stings that much harder, like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on the level of severity. Each person has, like, a thing they go through that's, like, the most severe. So, like, everything he is where I had to go through. Like, his severe issue is he is terrified of failure. So he doesn't even, like, try to apply himself. And that is where I was at. I did not want to do anything because I was so scared of making it go wrong. And that is what, like, hits me the most. If I meet anybody who's like that, I would want to shake them the same way. The whole relationship stuff, yeah, I went through it, but it doesn't hit me as hard.
Right. Well, because all your stuff is internal.
Right, yeah, like, so I can see how much he fucking hates himself. Like, I see, like, that pain in him. He flinches, like, from people just raising their voice. He's constantly in, like, survival mode, just trying to, like, move from one moment to the next. And I just want, like, there are moments I just want to choke him the fuck out. And I hate myself for saying that. I am thankful for the universe putting him into my groups, okay? Because if I didn't meet somebody like this, I would not have learned these things about myself. I knew how much of a problem I had, but I did not think it was this bad. And I am so glad I know now, because it's like, I had this thought slip in my mind right before the semester hit, where I'm just like, man, I really want to meet somebody who's just like me. And, there are different parts of me. I got the good parts, I got the cool parts, I got the bad parts, the toxic parts. But it just so happened to be that I got thrown in the toxic me. And that is the only me I needed, because I know my good self. I know my, whatever. But I don't know my toxic self that much. And so, I guess, in the moment I get so triggered, and I lose it. I mean, I keep constantly, like, looking over at him. Like, I feel like I can't even focus, because I keep, like, paying so much attention to him. But, like, outside of all that, it's a blessing. Like, I'm so grateful, like, that this has happened to me, Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this is just another area where we're opposites, like, hardcore. Like, if I run into somebody who's got some internal issues that I had, like, let's say their over importance of themselves, or their fear of failure. So, like, let's say it's another, like, young aspiring hot rapper, and they're just, like, overly thinking themselves and self-conscious. Like, I understand that enough, and even if I broke through some of my barriers, it doesn't bother me that they're still stuck in theirs, because I directly relate. I'm like, oh yeah, totally, man, I feel you. You know what I mean? I might share, like, well, I used to feel like that, and now I feel like this, and whatever. But if they chose to stay stuck there, I'd be like, cool. I wouldn't even give it a second thought. It wouldn't bother me. But if they're stuck in an outside force, like a social anxiety, or a relationship issue, or, anything that involves the world, to me that was a heavier burden. Mm-hmm. And so when I see someone stuck in those ways, and I see how paralyzed they are in those ways, I see how, like, much I was, basically fucked up from feeling those ways. So I more desperately want to help them. Like, you don't want to fucking write your raps and say them out loud in front of people. Cool, man. Like, whatever. Go find your passion elsewhere, Mm-hmm. But you want to stay in a shitty relationship or hide in a hole because of your social anxieties. Like, nah, brah. I lived in that fucking hole, and it sucks. Like, I feel you, like, 1,000%, and I want to help you get the fuck out of there. And when you don't, or you don't even try, but you still seem, like, madly affected by it, then it hurts me. I'm just like, I feel all your pain every time I see you, and, I never get mad at them. And, I'm glad you brought this up, because even me thinking about it, there's this person I work with, like a client, who's just paralyzed in a relationship, and, like, I just want to shake her and save her and be like, dude, like, don't you see? And she sees, and she 100% sees it. She knows that this is a dead end road, and she's just stuck. And it's nothing abusive or anything like that, but I mean physically, but definitely mentally. But, like, now I could see that's that part of my old self that stayed in a relationship because I have a kid with someone, or stayed in a relationship because I didn't know what else was out there. I didn't think anybody else would click with me, or I didn't want to be alone, or it's better than nothing, or I can't fucking pay rent on my own. I don't want to move back to my mom's. Like, all these factors. And I know how it feels to basically, you're a prisoner, you're a prison inside your own mind. And,
Dude,
yeah.
I just remembered something. We can cut this part out.
Do you not want to say it in front of people?
It's like personal shit between us.
Oh, yes, please say it.
That just hit me, like, you feeling like a prisoner, because I just remember the moments where you would ask me, like, because you really wanted a roommate because you couldn't afford to, like, kick her out. And I would just be like, nah, dude. Like, you asked me one time, and you guys got back together, and then
it was so
bullshit.
bad, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not putting myself into this. But now I feel so bad, because, like, I could have saved you that way.
No, because honestly, like, I did the same thing with my boy Calvin, and I kept pulling him in and backing out, pulling him in and backing out. And honestly, if I would have made any strong decisions back then to either date or live with someone else, I still would have been like half in and half out. You know what I mean? So I would have fucked it up.
Okay.
Yeah. There wasn't no saving me. Like, and I have to remember that too when I'm trying to help people get out of their hole, because there's no saving them. Like, they're not ready to get out yet. Like, they're still sitting there half tolerable. You know what I mean? So if I pull them out, if I guide them out, if I convince them to step out, they're stepping out with doubt. You know what I mean? So any first sign of going back, they don't have enough evidence that it doesn't work. They didn't leave fully done. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's another thing to keep in mind too. Like, these people are still there because they can tolerate it. Nobody is going to live in a completely intolerable situation. I mean, some people. There's always an extreme,
Yeah.
But yeah, you can pull someone out. You could save them. You could buy them a house, give them the keys, and just draw the whole roadmap and fucking push them along. As soon as they see a little out to go back, at the first sign of maybe it'll be different, they're gone. They're just fucking flying. Same with addiction. I can ask someone, make someone, convince someone, inspire someone to get clean. Fucking, if they're not 100% in it, and they're not 100% looking at that old life as intolerable, they're back. That's why, someone pulled out a joint in front of me and I fucking smoked it. Like, well, no shit, because you never were fully done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, someone pulls out a fucking line or a pill or a joint in front of me, like, I have too much evidence to be like, nah, bro. Like, it's not gonna sit there and entice me. I have so much proof that shit does not work for me. And before, I didn't have that. I got clean for a while. I didn't have that proof. So I fucking just like, la-di-da-di-da, stared at that joint, only thinking of good shit, and thinking, man, the bad wasn't that bad. And boom, boom.
The bad...
Off the joint again.
Yeah, the bad isn't that bad until it's bad.
Wait, what?
The bad isn't that bad.
Okay.
Until you fully realize it's bad.
Whoa. Let me write that down.
No, seriously.
No,
like, you gotta keep, like, proving that shit to yourself. Like, that is why I got to a point where people just keep fucking up. Like, just keep fucking up. Mm-hmm. But there's also that thin line. Like, playing with fire, you're gonna fucking kill yourself.
Right.
And people do that. So, where do you draw the line? I don't know. As horrible as it sounds, are they meant to just go there? I don't know. Is it that they just don't know any better and you need to, like, show them? Because my problem was that I did not know there was, like, a different way to live for me. And I guess I didn't really want a different way to live. Because I didn't think that, for me personally, because I'm too special, that I would, I'm, like, so cursed that the only way for me to live is by just feeling so horribly about myself, wanting to escape my body and my just everything, and the only way to escape it would be just drugs. So, but I really got to a point where I thought there was a different way.
Right.
Something in me told me, and I remember the first week I was withdrawing at my grandma's. I could have easily went and got like alcohol or something, but I just decided I didn't want to use, and I just waited till rehab. And then of course when I got to rehab, I was just like, oh, I gotta figure something out here. I'm gonna huff some butane from these lighters or something, but yeah. So I don't know where that line is at.
No, yeah, and there's so many things that are involved with all this shit. Like, you know, we look at it on paper and we're like, hey, this guy's treating you like shit, you need to leave, right?
Yeah.
He's an asshole, you know, you're clearly unhappy and it's been this way, you've tried everything, right? Okay, there is self-esteem. There is, I don't know if I can get someone else. There's financial considerations. I don't know if I can afford this. There's attachment to fantasy. Well, this is my family, or this is the love of my life. Like, I can't let go of this image I've created in my head. There's, I fucking deserve this. You know, I don't deserve any better than this. Mm-hmm. I can look at my past and see all the reasons why I deserve someone who treats me like this, because, you know, especially if you're with a fucking gaslighter or a narcissist, they're gonna convince you that this is all your fault anyway, you know? There's that fear of success, fear of failure, fear of just fucking stepping into the unknown. So, like, there's so many things going on, and your average person doesn't even know about most of them. You know, they think, I'm too scared to leave. Well, I must fucking suck. You know, so there's just more self-defeating behavior and talk. They don't know they're attached to an image in their head. They believe that image. They see glimpses of it when the guy's, you know, on his game or like, you know, rebalancing the scale, because that's what these narcissists do. They do their thing, they manipulate you, they fuck on you, and then they butter you up again, you know? So they're attached to this butter up image like this is a constant, and it's not. Or they have like a decent weekend and they're like, yes, this is the heaven I've been looking for. This is what I knew we could be. And then, you know, business as usual comes around and here we are doing the same shit, but they don't consider that as normal. Like, that's the thing that's changed about me with drugs, with relationships, with fucking life in general. I don't look at my job and say, well, these worst days are the main factor. No. And I don't look at it and say these best days are the main factor. Like, what are the days? What are the regular ass days? That's the norm, you know? Mm-hmm. So, like, even with a relationship, these super high highs, these like fucking butterfly moments, that's not the baseline. You know, that's bonuses, you know what I mean? Yeah. These fucking off days, you know, vibe kills, whatever, that's not the baseline either, unless they happen all the time. It's what happens most, you know what I mean? Like, what has happened more often than not. Right. And that has to be a factor. So if it's like a couple off moments, you know, in a week, most of it's pretty legit, I mean, I'm good. We're cool. And it depends, you know, this is all circumstantial too. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I wish I could just say something without being like, well, there's an extreme or there's special circumstances, because that's where my brain goes. I'm like, well, wait, yeah. I have to disclaim everything.
Yeah, I don't know. Relationship-wise, I don't have a lot.
Well, then talk about something else.
Well, I was gonna fucking say something, and
now I don't wanna.
No, like, I never really had, like, real, like, I don't know, I just... Yeah, it's weird.
You never had real what?
A relationship. Before you. Oh. Like, because there's either one where I was treated like shit, and then the other where I was treating the person like shit. Mm-hmm. So... And anything that was, like, in between wasn't even anything, so... But, yeah, no, actually, I want to talk about... I feel like I already talked about this, but I wanted to get back on the topic of triggers and how we don't appreciate them enough. Like, triggers are actually, like, incredible. Triggers are coming from our higher self.
What? That's a nice little twist. Let me hear more about this.
So, it doesn't necessarily mean that a trigger is bad. A trigger is not bad. We make it bad.
Okay.
Because we run with it. We let ourselves get back into the moment and we lose consciousness.
I have something and I don't want to forget it, so let me know when you're done with this point so I can get okay. I think I forgot it while I was saying that.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go.
Please.
After you.
You're probably going to say
first.
It. All right. Oh, fuck, man. My bad. I feel like I messed you up.
Okay.
So, like, a trigger isn't bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
A trigger is a sign that something's not going right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad. I'm triggered. I'm scared. I'm in a weird, sketchy situation. I'm triggered. That's a good thing. It's wanting to medicate the trigger. That's the bad thing.
Yep.
Not listening to the trigger. That's the bad thing. Not saying, this trigger is telling me something. This trigger is telling me I need to go. Just like pain. Pain is a sign that your mind gives to your body, or whatever. Your body gives to your mind. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist. Anyway, pain is a communicator that something's wrong with your body.
Biologist?
Yeah, sure. Gynecologist. That something's wrong. So, same with a trigger. Same with a trauma. It's a signal that something's wrong. And as addicts, we're used to medicating that with a drug or a substance, or just gritting our teeth and staying in the situation while the pain is flickering, going, hey, get the fuck out. Like, what are you doing? That's all.
All right. So, so triggers, there's like so many, like, there's a huge spectrum to triggers. But the main thing is that they are like an alert, like an indicator something's going on, and it's coming from the higher self. And there are two different kinds. There's the ones that, well, no, they're all just one kind, and all they do is they simply. So when you're in the moment and something happens and you get a certain feeling from it, that feeling is the trigger, and it takes you back into the moment of when those feelings were stored and they weren't fully processed. Okay. Now, if you were to fully process every emotion that you have felt, that has came to you in those moments, that you didn't resist or fight off because they were too painful, your brain just shut down and it said, if you feel like that's the end of you, basically. So if you were to have processed all these, you wouldn't have triggers. So triggers don't necessarily mean like, there's something wrong and you need to get out, you need to, it means that, to me, that these feelings are coming back that were not processed. And so, now, if you're in a, not a safe environment or whatever, and something in you gets triggered, but it's a different type of trigger, I feel. It's a present moment trigger.
Okay.
So this thing is happening in the moment, and you need to move. That's
still feel it. So you don't get hit with it later.
Right. It's an instinct that humans have, I feel. And but the other ones are not instinct. It's just that stored energy is flowing through it. Because when I get triggered, my whole fucking body tenses up. That's not an emotion. That is stored energy. That is just flowing through me, and it's just going insane. I get that way when I feel overwhelmed with school. People, for a lot of people I talk to about this, they think it's just, you're just stressed. But for me, it's a full-blown, trigger. Because back when I was little, I remember, like, my family thought I was, like, super capable, like, of everything, and when I wasn't, it was like, you fucking suck. And that feeling of you fucking suck, because of that, has stayed with me. I resisted it because it was too painful for a little girl to feel. So now it comes back up every time, like, something doesn't go right with my school and everything. So, I would be sitting there in lecture, and I would feel my whole body tense up. And it's crazy because I'm looking at other people, and everybody else is like, you know, oh man, this sucks, whatever. Like, but I seriously, it hits me so much harder than everybody else. And, yeah, I don't know where I was going.
No, you said a lot.
But
that's really good.
But triggers, another thing about triggers that's really incredible is that when we see a person that triggers us, it depends on what exactly was, like, that the trigger is. But some people, like, I know I'm guilty of it, would misread it for a sexual activation. Like, they will, like, that trigger, it may be because it's so powerful that you think, oh my gosh, I'm having these really powerful feelings towards this person. So you misread it for, or misinterpret it for, like, basically lust or whatever. So I think that's really crazy how triggers can do that.
You talk about how, like, if you bump into someone that reminds you of an old flame or something, or just...
No, like, okay, so so I have abandonment issues, right, from my mom, and when like, my very first ex, who fucked me up, when I first saw him, I knew he would ruin me. Like, I knew this, but I had such a strong feeling. I'm like, I don't care. I'm, like, gravitating towards this person. And he would constantly ghost me and abandon me. Constantly. And somehow my higher self, or my something in me, from the very moment when I saw him, knew that about him right away, could read it, like, intuitively. But I misinterpreted that reading, my intuition, for, like, that lust shit. So, which is why there's a trend with people who have, like, abusive parents, or just whatever the way your parents are, you go after people that are that, like that do the same shit, because you're, you know, like, am I making any sense?
Yeah, no, okay. They say that all the time, like, women grow up to, like, marry their dads, or, you know, same with guys, you know, looking for someone who's just like their mom. Like, I don't think it's a every case scenario, but we're looking for something familiar.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and that could be a traumatic characteristic, or that could be a positive one that stood out, or it could just be a vibe, you know, like, yeah.
But it's crazy how, like, literally the moment we see the person, like, it indicates that. And if we learn to listen to that and pay attention to that and take it, like, the correct way, like, it's just so powerful.
Right.
That's why triggers are so incredible. So if we learn to interpret our triggers, we're good. Like, that's our intuition right there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like, the spirit giving a body a signal, you know, and for me, it doesn't always tell me exactly what it is. Like, I've learned that I don't need to know in words, if that makes sense. Like,
yep.
I know what's up. I know if something's off. I know if there is an issue. I know if there is an off in trust or some type of, like, vibe. I don't know why, but I know something's up. You know what I mean? And that's something I you could have smacked me in the face with every, vibe you had 2-3 years ago. And I wouldn't have known, because I would have doubted it, because I would have needed proof, or I would have needed to know why I feel off, and I would have had to have a person confirm it, or have found evidence, or something, because I didn't trust my gut to know, like, fuck what's going on, something's going on, and stand on it, you know what I mean? Like, know it. And that was something that was really hard for me, and God, when I first got, like, my first piece of proof, it felt like 1,000 pounds lifted off me. I just could breathe, and I was like, fuck, dude. Not because I found out, not because, like, I was free from the lie, because I could trust myself again. Because I was like, you fucking knew it. Yep. Like, because that inner turmoil of doubting myself was horrible. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know, but I don't really know. I feel something's up, but I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? And, like, for real, though. And, but nowadays, like, nah. Like, this last time with my ex, I knew something was up. I didn't know what, but I knew something. And it was just, like, calm as fuck. Hey, something's up. You want to tell me? Nope. Okay. Like, cool. Nothing's up. You're just tripping, blah, 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 blah. To where I'd normally be like, fuck, am I making a huge mistake? Am I, like, stepping up, looking like a fucking idiot right now? Am I about to throw away something, because I'm wrong and make an assumption? Am I being paranoid? Am I being, like, conditionally triggered? All that shit, none of it. I was just like, I feel like something's up, and I know it, so you can tell me or not. Okay. And just let it be what it is. Phenomenal feeling. Like, just not going into the bullshit, not going down that rabbit hole, because everything that told me, like, am I right, am I wrong, what is the truth, was all the same shit I'm trying to avoid. Like, the paranoia, the ego, like, I don't know, I feel like I just made a point now. I sound like an idiot,
like, I'm glad you're getting this out, because it's a really good feeling. Like, in your case, triggers are, very, useful, but there's another side to them that, like, I know, my school triggers, right? There's no reason for them. There's nothing happening in the moment. I'm good. I'm at the top of my classes almost. I'm getting all my shit done. I'm all caught up. Like, but I'm still having those feelings being triggered, and it's kind of like, I feel like it's not until that I fully process those feelings, they're not going to keep coming up like this. So it's anything that comes remotely, like, that comes a little bit close on that scale that happens, that trigger is in full effect. It can't just be like, okay, there's a little bit of this, it's like
20% of this, here's a 20% trigger. No, it's like full trigger.
Yeah, like time. One domino falls over, they all fucking fall over.
Right.
It's a domino effect. And I wish I could say that they're useful in that moment.
They are useful.
But they're not helpful for me.
They are helpful.
Anymore.
They're helpful. You want me to tell you why?
The way you've seen me the way I've been feeling the past 2 months.
I have.
How are they helpful?
Because it's helping you get to an intolerable place with the standards that put you there.
Fuck you.
Fuck me. Fuck me. Am I right?
Say it again.
So,
Just say it exactly how you said it. You don't need to explain.
I don't really remember. It's helping you... Fuck, what did I say? Bruh.
So it's kind of like what we were talking about.
So it's showing you that the standards you have for yourself, the perfectionism. So, all right, you're doing phenomenal in school. You make one little mistake, and it hits you with a massive trigger, because it's showing you that you still have that perfectionism, or that inner, child who has to do everything perfect. It's showing you that you still have something to work on there. So it's activating it. It's keeping that, It's touching the nerve and it's hitting it to show you, like, hey, you know, this is still here. Because if everything was going smoothly for you in school and you didn't get that trigger feeling, you'd still get it at the first sign of 1% fucking dip in your awesome scale. You know what I mean? So it's really just keeping the progression going for you.
Yeah, and like, yeah. And same with yours, like.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I feel like once I got to a place for me where I recognized a lot of my emotional walls, I'm not going to say they're all gone, but once I accepted them, I could see them more. I feel like I've been a little more vulnerable. I feel like I've been a little more, like, lowering the guards.
Yep.
There's been a lot of times recently where I felt defensive and pushed through it, or got defensive and spoke on it, whereas before it was still, like, even with all the shit, even with all the self-reflection, the humility, the being in recovery and telling on myself, I'd still, like, have little things happen, like defensiveness or whatever, and wouldn't feel the need to go speak on it. Just tell myself, and then maybe even still halfway rationalize it. But anyway, like, yeah, it's like life's gonna keep giving us, you know, chances to grow. And I don't know, I feel like those triggers are important to you. Like, you are still seeing that, hey, this is still a thing for me, you know, because, all right, so if you have a perfectionism issue, because I have had them and I still kind of do, they just don't hit me as hard. But if you do everything without incident and you stay in your definition of perfect, you're not going to feel triggered. You're not going to, so you're almost just, you know, just because you don't feel the trigger, does that mean it's not there? No, it just means you haven't activated it yet. So every time you get to the threshold where you activate it, like maybe most people, their baseline's down here to where they'd have to really fuck up to feel like they fucked up. But you have a higher threshold, so you fuck up a little bit and feel like you majorly fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Is this bumming you out?
No, I'm like just thinking about the stuff I haven't done.
How about you think about the stuff you have done?
Dude, it's bad. It's so fucking bad. It's like, it's worse than like anything. Like, out of all the things that could possibly happen, that thing is what affects me the most.
What?
Just school shit. Or, you know, not even like, just anything that has to do with there being an expectation of me with anything. Somebody expecting me to get something done. Or me expecting myself to get something done. That is like the worst. It is the worst thing imaginable for me. Like, doesn't even stand close to relationship shit, like family, whatever, like money, like any of that.
Right. When
somebody expects something of me, I just want to shut down because I have to. Okay, there it is. I put all of my worth into what I can do. On days when I get things done and they go well, I am like, I feel like I can take over the fucking world. On the days when I can't get something done, I feel worthless.
Right.
So, the days that I can't complete something or there's shit still hanging over my head, I just don't, like, I almost feel close to, like, suicidal. And I understand this now, and I'm aware of it, and I just allow myself to feel that. But, it's so bad. Like,
I think it's really good that you allow yourself to feel it, but I think it's also important that you do work on reframing that. And I know you do. But for me, I used to feel the same way. Like, I never really got suicidal except when I was just in a deep, dark drug dependency.
yeah.
But, like, I felt very low about myself. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? And would get super high on myself whenever I did something awesome because I'm fucking God's gift again. You know? And then even when I was down on myself, I was super down because I'm God's gift. I can't fucking feel like this. But reframing it, like dropping that threshold to a realistic level was awesome for me, because now when I write a fire song, when I perform really well at work and have really awesome like conversations and can look at myself and say, damn man, I really know what I'm doing, or we have a fire ass pod and I'm like, fuck yeah, like I feel the self-importance, I feel like, I guess, an ego, I feel, but it's not like it's not self-defining anymore. I can appreciate myself today. I can say, damn, bro, like, I almost look at it like humbly, like, I never thought I'd have solid shit to stand on because I didn't even know one thing from another when I was in rehab. I couldn't have told you, like, my fucking anything about myself and stood on it. But now I can stand on, like, damn near everything I say today, you know, because I know it's not like as much of an expectation for me, but I also know that this is just my perspective. I know that I'm human. I know that it's okay if I have an off day. I know that, you know, it's all right if I end up not being the best rapper alive and having a podcast that, like, isn't fucking top of the line. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with all that shit. And it just relieves so much pressure for me to feel like I have to live up to this really just unreasonable expectation of myself. But I think we're both in, like, way better places than we used to be.
Oh, yeah.
So, one day at a time, baby.
I need to realize it is an option for me to fail sometimes. Because I still can't beat it into my fucking head that's an option, because I keep thinking it's not an option.
Right.
Because if I'm just scared of the feelings that I'll come across if I do fail in anything. So I just avoid a lot of things. But yeah, like, I guess I just don't know which way to go. Do I just allow and accept myself to feel, or do I just run away from it and try to reframe it and fucking, you know...
How about both? Feel it, allow it to be, while also reframing and allowing that to be, and feeling that, and then, you know what I mean? Because it's not really like, your expectations are unrealistic. So it's not like you're trying to do something you shouldn't be doing or wouldn't be beneficial for you. You could still want to take over the world. You could still want to get straight A's. You just let go of that, hey, if I don't, there's something specifically wrong with me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How would, like, treat yourself how you treat your best friend.
I don't know.
Because you know what? You are your own best friend. It just got dark.
I thought you were